Today we're talking about a Star Wars action figure, and probably more so, a story that goes along with it. This is a 40th anniversary Stormtrooper Star Wars action figure from Hasbro, but made in the style, 40th anniversary, of the old Kenner carded Star Wars. And it's in this nice acrylic case, which we'll go more into, but because of the lights and whatnot, I don't have the best setup here. It's coming out. This came out in 2017, and as my research, I found out that there's a variation with the text up here. Some of them have lowercase, some of them have uppercase with the word age, and possibly the rest of this text. I didn't see any examples, I just saw it written about. I have no idea which one of these is more rare. I have the all caps version, so that's something. A quick side note, I do actually have one other figure from this 40th anniversary collection that I really liked. I don't have it here. I don't know where it is. It's packed away somewhere, I'm sure, but I cannot find it for the life of me. I don't know where it's gone, but I know I had it. I know I got it at one point. I do have a picture that it exists. My significant other found it at a Toys R Us going out of business sale in 2018, maybe? And it had some other stuff with it that she went, oh, Michael likes this, and bought me a few things. But specifically the Vader was in the collection pack that came with a display stand for these figures, modeled after one of the original things that Kenner put out back in the 70s, maybe. I've forgotten what year they came out. Now, it's important with the acrylic case that you realize I got this while I was working at a job where we made acrylic cases for collectibles. The reason being is that we would sometimes get in packages of unsealed figures. So technically, this came straight out of a package, straight from Hasbro, and then I was able to buy it because the workers were able to divide up the ones and things like that. We all got a chance because we just needed it for the case. So technically, this would have been what they would consider uncirculated, but I have since used it. Oh, look, they've got the 40th anniversary legacy pack here on the back. That is what I have with the Vader. I did wind up finding them in a store at one point, but I didn't have any money at that point either, so I just took a picture of the rack in a Walmart. Now, I mentioned the acrylic case because it's kind of important to the story because of where I worked and what would happen next with my experiences. I was collecting Star Wars toys at this point. I only managed to get this one and then the Vader for the 40th anniversary Black Series, but I've got other Black Series that we can talk about. I've got a whole line. I really got into buying when they rebooted the movies. I was at that age and I really enjoyed Star Wars and I had money, so I started buying Star Wars figures. I got this one especially. This one means a lot, and more so, it reminds me of the case. It stays in the acrylic case, which reminds me of my time of what would happen next. So these come out, and just after they come out, there is a big Star Wars convention in Orlando, Florida. Star Wars Celebration 2017. And you know who was at Star Wars Celebration 2017? I was, to work. It was a really cool time. There's a lot to go into with that stuff, but the company sent me and other employees down there as part of selling these acrylic cases. And these things sold like hotcakes. They had figures at the show. People were getting their figures signed by cast members from Star Wars. I know there were multiple cast members there, especially I think the one I saw the most was the man playing Emperor Palpatine. This was around the time, this was many years ago, this was around the time where they put out the trailer for one of the the trilogy, the last trilogy, what does that call it? The sequel trilogy? They revealed, there was a trailer with Palpatine's voice in it, and the actor was there for obvious reasons, so there was a lot of people buying action figures and getting them signed by him. We sold cases of all kinds, but this one in particular we took a couple hundred that we made and sold out within like an hour on the first day. I'm not even joking, to the point where we went and had to limit people from buying them, and that did not make customers happy. We had a lot of people coming back being like, well, okay, you're limiting it to 2 people, but I can buy 2, and my girlfriend here can buy 2, and then this random guy I'm about to give money to can buy 2, and it's like, yeah, dude, I can't stop you. Can you not be a jerk about it, though? Because this is a long day. But they sold like hotcakes. So we immediately call back, like within that first hour, we sell out of everything. So we call back home to our company and go, make more of these and get them expedited down here. We needed them yesterday. and they send us another couple hundred, and we sell through all of those. We limited people. We made it cash only because we made the most money without having to pay taxes. It was a whole thing. But anyway, we put a lot of restrictions on it so people couldn't just buy all of them immediately, and we still sold out. It was ridiculous. This event was so busy. But getting a little ahead of myself. We take 2 cargo vans full of cases down there, and I'm driving one, trading off with another coworker, and we got another couple of people in the other one. So we drive down there, and I'm not unfamiliar with long car rides to Florida. That's where my family would vacation, from up near Metro Atlanta where we lived. So I wasn't the worst on that kind of thing. But then we got to stay in the, hands down, nicest hotel I have ever stayed in. I don't remember if it was the Hilton or the Hyatt, one of those real big fancy ones, but we were almost on the top floor. I've got some pictures. The view was spectacular. And it must have been really, really expensive. I hope they got some kind of rate, the company. I didn't have to pay for anything, which was nice. I was getting paid to be there. But there was a sign on like the back door of the hotel room that said it was $800 a night in this hotel. And it was by far the nicest hotel I've ever been in. I've been in a fair amount of hotels, especially for conventions. I would do Dragon Con regularly. That was the convention that happened once a year in Atlanta. And we'd usually stay in a hotel because it was easier. So I do know hotels. I've been familiar with that kind of situation. This was unlike anything else. Not only were we really high up, not only was it really expensive, there was a social bar area just outside of our rooms, exclusive to that floor. I mean, not like you had to put in a special key in the elevator, but you wouldn't have known about it if you weren't staying on that floor. And it had like a little snack area. It was like, we would go downstairs to the main huge breakfast hall for the free breakfast each morning, and then get our food, and then take it back upstairs usually, because it was a lot less crowded, and we were right there next to the room, so we could quickly get ready, because this was work. It was unfortunately not that enjoyable when it came to the actual work part. These were like 16, 18-hour days. It was nonstop. One day we drive to the convention center with the vans to try to unload our stuff, and they go, well, you can't just park here the whole time. You got 30 minutes, and we're going to let you in only during a certain window. We're tagging your car so we know exactly when. This is for the exhibitors, right? Like, this is the badge that says exhibitor on it. We were allowed to do that, but we had a limited time, and we were just going to park the car there, the cargo van full of all this stuff, so we could transport back and forth as necessary. Nope, that didn't happen. So then we leave, and we have to go find a parking lot. So we go and we park the van there, and we're really far away, and then we get to the convention center. We've only been to the convention center through the back entrance where the exhibitors, straight to the hall where we were. So we were right in and out between there. We walk in the main entrance. It is huge. And we try to walk all the way around, and they won't let us through. And they go, no, you got to come in through the back. We see your exhibitors, but we can't just let you in here, because then everybody would want to get in, and we're not doing that. That was security. I understand. I work security. I understand their job. So we have to walk all the way back around and back to the car, and then just drive the car back to the hotel and then get an Uber from... It was a whole thing. That one day in particular, I had a watch that was tracking my steps at that point. Now, on an average day, I'd get a couple thousand steps. That day, I did 20,000. My legs wanted to die. So it was really cool. I did get a little bit of time right before when the exhibit halls open and people start coming in. We have to be working the booth, where I got to walk around. And I got to take some pictures. So here are some cool pictures of the things that I got to see. Now, the other part of this story, the other thing that I managed to walk away from that reminds me, I'm really excited that I have it. I really like it. I didn't think I was going to be able to get it, but I really am happy that I did. Across from us, across from our booth is another booth that's setting up, and they have a big display that they put out. You'll see it here. This thing is just taunting me. Rogue One had come out about a year and a half earlier and just completely changed. It reinvigorated me liking Star Wars, right? It did it for a lot of people. It was unlike anything else. And just as a side note, I've rewatched it recently. Wow, so good. And especially after seeing Andor, the TV series that ties in with, and like, whoa. Anyway, so they've got this Director Krennic comic. And it's right across from me. I'm just staring at it the whole convention. On the first day after we've been seeing them setting up the day before anything opens or anything, but the official first day, it's like 5-10 minutes before the exhibit hall opens, and we're about to get slammed with stuff. And because they had a the night before, they let in the people who paid even more money to get into the convention center the night before, so for just a couple of hours. So we'd already gotten slammed with that stuff, right? And then we've got the convention center, or the exhibit hall, right about to open. And I see that they've got the banner. They've got it there. I got to run over there real quick. And I'm like, hey, man, can I get some of those comics? And it's like, oh, we don't even have anything. We're not like fully set up yet. We're trying to get ready to go. Like, I know. I work right over there. I'm also an exhibitor here in the booth. We're about to get slammed as well. I understand you're busy. And he's like, we don't have, our machines aren't working with. I was like, I'll pay cash. Just can I buy the comic? I actually got 2. They were really nice. The guy was like, yeah, we can do it for cash. Here you go. And I was able to buy it. I don't remember how much I paid for it. Probably $20, honestly, if I had to guess. It says 5 on there, but I'm guessing I paid more than that because it was exclusive at a convention. I don't know. I did manage to pick up a few things at this convention when I was able to walk around, and I paid far more than usual to get them, but it was the only place that I was able to find some of this stuff. Funko Pops that I'd been looking for. I remember one specifically, this comic. I'm sure I paid extra, but I did buy more than one copy. I only have one copy. The other one was for my brother because he also really liked Rogue One and wanted this comic, and it was exclusive. He collects comics, But yes, I managed to get it, and then I went back and I squirreled it away in the booth, and then I went back, and like that night, I remember a few things about that trip. It was mostly a blur because it was nonstop work for like a week straight, between the driving down, the driving back, the unload, the load, constant. It's harder than I've worked in a really long time since then as well, to be honest with you, just physically demanding to get this stuff done. And seeing what other companies, big companies do, they just hire movers to come in and do this stuff. Like they were setting up a TIE fighter not too far away from us as a display. Those were just random people who knew nothing about Star Wars from what I could tell and what I talked with them. And they were just there just like, all right, here we go. And it's like 30 people and they've got an 18-wheeler tractor trailer that they got to unload within an hour. And they're just like busting and busting and busting. And then they're done and they go, all right, next convention, let's go. And they do the loadout and they leave. But of the few things, as I was saying, that I do remember about this specifically, I remember passing out in a hotel room every night. I remember eating basically the same food every time because they really didn't have very many options in the hotel bar, which was all we really had the energy for. We went out to eat, I think, once. We actually left and went to a restaurant that very first night. And then never again, because it was just like, we don't have time to leave and go somewhere. This is nonstop. It's already, by the time you get started so early in the morning, and then the time that the hall closes, we barely ate. I remember we had some customers who knew us and were quite friendly, who went and bought us food and brought it back and went, here's some crappy chicken nuggets from the convention center, because we needed something to eat during the day. Nonstop work. So hard, but one night I did go back, and right before I pass out in the hotel room, let me tell you, passing out almost every night, ridiculous the amount of just how tired I was. But one night after getting this, I was so excited. I did read through it that night. Fantastic, loved it, so good. I remember that very well. I remember a few things about that, but I specifically do remember going back and reading this comic, being really excited that I managed to get a copy. It's exclusive. I really liked Rogue One. Director Krennic was fantastic. I really liked reading this as well, that kind of stuff. It's the only one I have, but like, man, what an experience. I think of this, I think of the hard work of the convention, I think of the whole thing there, all the cases that we sold, the amount of work nonstop, talking and wheeling and dealing and talking to people, and I never want to do it again. Don't get me wrong, there's absolutely no chance I'd be in a convention center at all, but it was a good experience. It was fun at times, and it was a lot of hard work, but like, I got some cool stuff out of it. We'll see the Funko Pop another point in time, I'm sure, but it wasn't Star Wars or anything, so it's not related to this. And I also don't know where it is, and it's packed up. But specifically, going to Star Wars Celebration, getting to see a lot of stuff, What do a lot of people go to the convention center to see? It's the actors. And you know where the actors are? They're just past us. We are on the main floor of like between the other parts of the convention center and then where everyone needs to go through to go see the actors. We've got the most foot traffic. It was probably one of the best spots in the house, to be honest with you. I don't know how the boss managed to swing that one, but yes, we had that. We were there. And so every morning I get to see famous actors walking past. I've been in the same room with Mark Hamill, with other actors from Star Wars that I've forgotten the name of, and like they walked right past the booth and some of them checked it out and we're like, oh, that's cool, you guys got the toys and stuff like that. And like I don't remember having a conversation with any of them, I'll be real, I'm not going to say anything that's not true, but I do remember seeing them walking right past us and being like, oh cool, that's Mark Hamill, we gotta get this stuff going though, we're behind, we have to open up in just a few minutes. So that was really neat. Definitely mixed emotions between the hard work of being and working the exhibit rather than being able to go and enjoy it or something like that, but I still got something cool out of it. It was my job. I didn't have to pay for this or anyway. It would have cost ridiculous amounts of money to go to some kind of convention like this. I really like Star Wars. The little bits that I did get to walk around and see stuff was just really cool. Overall, especially for the things that came out of it, this was an experience. These are things and items that I like.